Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? My name is Kyle, you know me as Dragonmar, and welcome to a new video. Today guys, we're going to be going over one of the most common questions, which is, why am I not ranking up? And I've got 10 reasons that you aren't ranking up, and I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Trust me, it really helps. Help me with that YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment, leave a like. Seriously, it does help these videos reach more people, which is always the goal. And if you guys enjoy these videos, maybe you want to ask me some questions, watch how I actually play the game, make sure you come follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dragonmar. I'm live almost every day, 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. And let's start the video. Alright guys, before we jump into the first reason, I do want to hear in the comments what you feel like you see yourself doing here. What are the reasons that I'm talking about that you feel like apply to you? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And with that said, reason number one, this is a big one, is that you're too focused on just improving your aim. Okay, this is a big one. I want to take some time to kind of talk about this and explain what's going on here. Now, when you watch Valorant, when you watch pro players, when you watch high ranked players, when you watch even my stream, a lot of people are impressed by one thing, and that is aim. Because aim is the easiest thing to sort of see, right? It's kind of like the main part of Valorant is aim, because at the end of the day, if you can't kill the enemies, you can't really progress in the game. So, because it's the easiest thing to identify and to be like, I want to get good at that, that's all people focus on. 99%, not 99, 90% of the questions I get is, how can I improve my aim? How can I get better at this? How can I get better crosshair placement? Should I do aim lab, Kovacs? Should I go into deathmatch? What drills should I do in the practice range? How should I work on my aim? And the answer to that is, any way possible works, right? All of that is good. But if you are only focusing on improving your aim, what ends up happening is you just completely neglect every other part of the game, and you think that just because you're deathmatching or just because you're in aim labs 2 hours a day, that you're going to be the next tens. The truth is, you're never going to get there, and the reason is because you don't have the game sense to pair with that aim. Just because you're a good aimer, it's only going to get you so far, and the problem is that a lot of you aren't as good at aiming as you actually think you are. Just because you get a high scoring grid shot does not mean you are going to be immortal, does not mean you're ever going to make it to Radiant. So a really important thing to understand is that just because you're focusing on improving your aim, which is good, mechanics are important, you still have to take a lot of time to develop and improve your game sense, whether it's things like strategies or positioning on maps or executes. Whatever it is, you have to improve that, or else your aim is almost not going to matter. And it sounds dumb. You guys think you could just carry yourself to like diamond with just aim. I promise you, this is one of the biggest reasons you're not ranking up, because you're not focused on the strategy part of the game. You're not focused on learning the setups, on learning defaults, on any of that. You're just focused on clicking heads, and that is not going to be good enough for some of you. Please do not fall into this trap. Reason number two why you are not ranking up is you don't make callouts. Let's be honest here. I know a lot of you guys watching are in this boat. I understand for some of you it's a little more difficult, whether it's a language barrier or what have you, but trust me, callouts are going to change your life if you're not currently making them. Being able to communicate exactly where enemies are, what's happening, where certain abilities are being used, that is the key to getting better and to ranking up at this game, because the higher in rank you go, the more expected this is going to be. I have found that a lot of players who I have coached and done VOD reviews for are players who don't actually make callouts. They don't communicate. People aren't psychic. People aren't going to read your mind. You have to make these things super easy to understand. And even something like calling out, hey, like my trip broke, someone's on the flank, is sometimes all it takes to save an entire round so that you don't get wiped out by a flanker. Super, super simple, but I promise you this is a huge reason why a lot of people are not ranking up in this game. Reason number three, getting into a little bit of the ego stuff here, but essentially it's expecting perfection or like mind reading. You kind of expect your teammates to be psychic, like I was saying. And I just think that one really, really important thing to do here is to kind of ground yourself and be like, I am at this rank because I am this rank right now. Doesn't mean you're always going to be bronze, doesn't mean you're always going to be silver, but if you think you're better than your teammates, if you give yourself this superiority complex, you are going to struggle to rank up, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to blame people, you're going to tilt, you're going to essentially just not treat people the way they should be treated. They're going to hate you. They're going to tilt, you know, etc., etc., etc. It's really important to understand that in these lower ranks, where a lot of you guys are, where a lot of the player base is, you really got to help some people understand what's going on. So the mind reading part is really important. And so that's why I talk about callouts so much in communication, is just because you think it's a smart play to rotate to A to plant the spike because you know it's clear, doesn't always mean your teammates know that. So if you just say, hey, let's, you know, go here, that way no one's reading your mind. They're not across the map while you're planting the spike, and your team has synergy, right? If you don't do that, there's a chance they're not going to know. Then, you know, like I said, you're expecting perfection. You're expecting them to know exactly what to do. Not everybody is going to be at that point at these low ranks. Sometimes you got to give them a little bit of help. And that's why it's really important that you don't put yourself above other people, and you try to play the best game you can, you know, being respectful to others and trying to help them along the way. Just because someone doesn't know the exact setup you want doesn't mean they're a bad player. And that's really important to understand. All right, this one's going to hit home, but for some of you at least. Reason number 4 is you guys tilt like crazy, and you don't just tilt yourself. A reminder, a big reason why tilting is so bad and why controlling your emotions is so important is because you end up tilting your teammates. And I can't tell you how many times this has happened in my games alone, where a teammate has gotten so mad at someone on my team that that person has completely given up on the game. I know people watching right now are those players. You guys don't understand that just because someone does something wrong, first of all, doesn't mean they're a horrible human being. Second of all, doesn't mean they're even a bad player, right? Remember, you guys are the same ranks like I've been talking about. It's really important to understand that if you tilt at a teammate, you're actually just hurting your own chances of winning, which is the entire reason I think some people are just playing ranked, right? What's the point if you're not trying to win? First of all, that's very simple. And then why would you actively do something that hurts those chances? That seems counterproductive, right? So if you guys are somebody who tilts, turn your mic off. Don't open mic it, you know, don't hit push to talk. Just, if you're going to tilt to yourself quietly. Don't let your teammates know that. That's kind of the philosophy I've developed. Yeah, sometimes I get a little upset at people and blah, blah, blah. I have not talked shit in game in a long time because it doesn't help. It doesn't do anything productive. So if you are somebody who tilts, I promise you, this is holding you back. You are losing games because you're tilting your teammates. Don't do that. Just shut up. All right, this one's going to hurt some people, but reason number 5 is that your duo, trio, or stack is pointless, okay? Hear me out. One of the reasons why you would play with a duo or play with other people is because you feel like the quality of that player is better than what you're going to get solo queuing, right? Why would you, otherwise, you know, like, unless it's just a friend or whatever, why are you queuing with people if you don't think that there is some advantage to it? One of the most common things I hear is, oh, I queue with people because I hate solo queue teammates. No one talks, no one does this, they're all bad. Okay, then why aren't you winning with your duo? Okay, why aren't you winning in your 5 stack? What's going on? I can't tell you how many times I've watched a VOD where someone's playing in a stack and there is absolutely no team synergy. There is absolutely no communication. No one's even like playing agents that complement each other or trying to play together in any strategy, any teamwork at all. Big reminder for you guys in low ranks is just because you're playing with someone you know, it doesn't mean that anything is going to be better for you. You have to actually work at things to have a better result. If you are playing in a duo or a trio the same way you would in solo queue, congratulations, you've done nothing but play with people you know, and now your chances of winning are the exact same, right? Obviously, there are some upsides like you know, making sure your agent comp, your agent selection and your team comp is good. Aside from that though, if you're not like playing off of each other at all, you know, using that kind of built-in teamwork, I just have no idea what you're doing. If you guys are not ranking up playing in a stack, first of all, you also want to consider people's actual ability. How good are some of these people you're playing with? A lot of the times we have friends who are lower ranks, we bring them in, we don't rank up, and unfortunately they weigh us down sometimes, and that's fine. Make another account, play with them. You don't have to, like, you know, carry your buddies all the time and then get frustrated you're not ranking up. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a duo do absolutely nothing together and have absolutely no synergy. And it's just like, why are you duoing? Like, you guys are still toxic. You're still getting mad at your teammates. You're yelling at each other. Why are you playing together? Like, what's the point here? So please do not fall into this trap of just thinking because I'm solo queuing, that's why I'm not ranking up. I have to play with other people. Trust me, it doesn't work like that. All right, reason number, what are we on, 6, is you only care about winning. This is a mindset issue. I've talked about this a lot. One of the most common pieces of advice I give to players is that winning is great. And the reason that I queue up for ranked is because I want to compete and I want to win, right? But that's not the only thing I'm doing. I also want to get better at the game, which is my primary goal when I go in. If I'm losing a game, yeah, I'm definitely trying to figure out what's going wrong and how I can learn from it, right? If I'm getting outplayed, yep, I'm definitely thinking about how I'm getting outplayed and how I can counter it, right? It's really important to not just completely shut down when you're getting stomped or when you're getting rolled over or when you're just simply losing in general. Because the point here is a lot of people get stuck on this sort of idea that winning is the only important thing. And if my match history isn't green, I suck. Or if I am not winning and ranking up, then that means I'm not getting better. The truth is, a lot of times you are getting better without ranking up. This is simply just true. No fact checks. This is true, okay? Just because you're not ranking up doesn't mean you're not getting better at the game, because you're learning each game how to do something new. Whether it's how to play in a certain team comp, how to play a certain position, how to counter certain aggressions or set plays or what have you. Every single game, as long as you're like actively trying to get better, you learn these things and you kind of store it away in like that library in your head. And you pull it out the next time you're in those situations, right? Really, really important here to not get trapped in that bad mindset of I only care about winning, nothing else, right? Because the simple truth is there's still a lot you can gain from, getting stomped like, 13-1. Reason number 7 is actually something I've seen a lot in my VODs, the VODs I review, and that is that when people tilt, when the games are not going their way, they just force. This is a big reason why a lot of people struggle to rank up and to win certain games, is because they get in this bad cycle of forcing. Now, I've talked about this a lot, right? Forcing is a huge bad habit in the Valorant community, and a bad habit for also when people just like are not having a good game. This is super common. You'll see Sheriff buys, you'll see Marshall buys, you'll see Spectres on gun rounds, right? Everybody is forcing. And a lot of the times, this is what actually loses the game, not anything else, right? Literally forcing alone can lose games completely. And it's really important here that you understand that if you are somebody who maybe tilts a little bit, if you are somebody who has a tendency to overbuy sheriffs and to overbuy these guns when your teammates aren't buying, really important to try to rethink that kind of behavior, because what happens is you put yourself in a situation in the next buy round where you might not have the right equipment. You might have abilities, full shields or whatever. And if the enemy team pushes you, you might not be in a spot to really stop them. Well, you kind of played yourself, right? And this loses a lot of rounds. Huge problem with the lower ranks and a huge problem at the higher ranks too, right? Forcing is a really bad habit here. But trust me when I say this, this is absolutely a reason why you are not ranking up. Have you guys ever had a teammate play an agent and you're just trying to figure out what's going on? Like, why are they playing that way? So reason number 8 why you're not ranking up is that some people are too focused on playing meta agents that just don't fit their play style. They're too focused on playing what the pros play, or playing what's quote good right now, right? Instead of playing an agent that actually fits how they play the game. If you are a duelist, if you play a duelist and you aren't entering, if you aren't aggressive, if you aren't using flashes, if you aren't trying to go in first and get frags, or you're not confident in your aim, why are you playing a duelist, right? Big red flag there. And some of you might be like, nobody does that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I promise someone in the comments will be like, yep, that happens in my games all the time. You ever had a sentinel who just pushes, like not just like lurking push, but like actually just pushes every round almost? And you're like, why are they playing a sentinel like a duelist? Exactly. I guarantee you've had that. Big reason here. Make sure you guys are playing agents that fit your playstyle. Fit your playstyle to the agent. Don't try to like change how you play the game necessarily just because you want to play a certain agent. Trust me, you got to play to your strengths. There are agents that play to everybody's strengths. All right, I talked about this earlier, but reason number 9 is you guys blame teammates for everything. This is, again, kind of like a mindset, not necessarily even in game, right? Please don't like blame your teammates in game. It is so toxic. It is so, tilting a teammate does not help anybody, right? We've talked about this, but the mindset here of not being able to accept blame. First of all, very immature. Let's be honest. You damn children. Very immature. You make mistakes. Trust me. But essentially what happens is people will go into a game, they will get destroyed, and they'll be like, oh my god, my teammate was playing so bad. They did this, and this wrong. We lost because this guy only had 5 kills. What they fail to do, though, in those situations is learn anything from that match, aside from the fact that their teammate made mistakes, right? And I think that's a big thing here that I'm trying to get across, is that when you go into these games and you're getting rolled, you can still learn from it. But if all you're doing is blaming teammates and going next, that's not going to help you. So it's really important to be like, okay, my teammates played bad, yes, so did I. Let me figure out why. And that's how you become a better player. If you are stuck not ranking up and you are somebody who just blames your teammates every game, let me tell you something about who's in every game you play, okay? And it's you, not those teammates. You're going to get new teammates every now and then, right? You're not always going to play with the same people, but you're in every game you play. If you lose every game you play, you're the common denominator. You're part of the problem. You got to be able to accept that. You got to be able to learn from it. And finally, let's talk about reason number 10, which is focusing on the scoreboard too much. If you guys are hitting tab every second to look at how many kills you have, where you are on the scoreboard, who has less kills, who has more kills, let me tell you something about a game like Valorant, is not all kills are created equal, and not all players, not all agents, and not all positions and roles should have, the same amount of kills, more or less, whatever it is, right? There are so many variables, but let me explain something. Typically, duelists are going to have the most kills because they are getting the most fights and they have the most utility, and they have teammates setting up utility also to help them get kills, whether it's smokes, flashes, whatever it is. That is why you see entrants, duelists at the top. It's not because they're better players. It's not because they're playing better. It's because that is what those positions, those roles are good at. The reason you see sentinels with the least kills most likely is because they're anchoring sites, they're holding positions, and they're playing around their abilities. They are not pushing up, they're not looking for first bloods, they are simply holding down their sites. That is why you often see them with the least amount of kills. That does not mean they are playing poorly, that does not mean they're playing bad, that does not mean they're a bad player. But the scoreboard wouldn't tell you that. The scoreboard also doesn't tell you if just because your duelist is top fragging, if they're getting all their kills on pointless eco rounds against classics when they have rifles, guess what? Those aren't impact frags. Those aren't really helping your team win rounds that much. Those aren't helping on those important gun rounds. A player may have 10 kills at the end of 20 rounds, but if those 10 kills all came as first bloods or all came as high impact frags in important gun rounds, that player had infinitely more impact than any duelist could have had dropping a 30 bomb with the majority of those kills being on ecos. Okay, really important to understand, if you are somebody focusing on the scoreboard, trust me, you need to let it go, right? This is a big problem with people, and a problem why people don't learn and don't get better is because they're so worried about one thing, and that's getting kills, but that is not all that matters. You have to understand where those kills come from. I made entire videos talking about that. One of my most recent VOD reviews was about that, talking about impact frags. This is a big problem for people, and they think, oh my gosh, I'm not ranking up, my teammates are so bad, I always top frag. Congrats, Jordan. You're killing people with classics, okay? Go win a gun round. And guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, let me know what you want to see next, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, and peace.